Buyer's Guide.
Stock futures are down this morning after that huge sell-off yesterday. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. Go to rapidradios.com and you'll get up to 60% off, free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO for an additional 5% off.
Data Center World, the #1 event for data center pros and IT pros, will be held at the Washington, D.C. Convention Center from April 14th through 17th. Meet with over 380 leading solution providers and connect with leaders shaping the future of the data center industry. Take advantage of the proximity and walk away with a wealth of insights designed to propel your career, your business, and the industry forward. Use promo code WTOP to receive $100 off your registration. Visit datacenterworld.com/WTOP for more information.
Cabinet Discounters, we truly love what we do. Transforming kitchens, bathrooms, basements, any room. Creating new ways to help you achieve your vision, and all within your budget. Visit one of our 8 showrooms. Sit down with an experienced designer and build the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Call or go online today and schedule a free consultation at CabinetDiscounters.com.
It's Cabinet Discounters, proud to serve you for over 40 years.
Cabinet Discounters, great quality, great price.
This is WTOP News. WTOP FM Washington. WWWT-FM Manassas. WTLP FM Braddock Heights, Frederick.
Traffic and weather on the 8th, checking things on a Friday morning with Rita.
And we're still pretty quiet. We do have some delays starting to build, and we still have the problem in Olney. This is 108 closed between Zion Road and Bowie Mill Road at Volunteer Drive for the earlier wreck that brought down a pole and some wires. So it is utility work there from the earlier crash. Now we have the delay in the district. Southbound DC 295 after Eastern Avenue toward East Capitol Street. Northbound I-295 heavier from the Suitland Parkway onto the 11th Street Bridge, and the inbound Suitland Parkway starts to slow approaching 295 and the Douglas Bridge. Now northbound 210 already starting to see a delay right now near Old Fort Road North trying to head toward Palmer and Livingston. You'll also find 5 and 301 in good shape through Brandywine. No major delays on 5 after that. You do have more volume headed toward Moores Road and Earnshaw, and you also find on southbound 270 that delay out of Frederick, then in Urbana and passing 109, then it looks good to the lane divide. The WTOP Traffic Center is presented by Window Nation. Today, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Visit windownation.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
And here's 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
Tracking a pattern of unsettled weather, it's going to carry us all the way into the weekend. A frontal system that lifted northward to bring us into the 80s yesterday kind of wavers overhead, and that'll act as a focus for some shower chances, not just today, but into the weekend as well. We'll see highs on either side of 70 degrees today, clouds a little bit breezy at times and muggy. We'll say into the evening, some showers are still a possibility, but there will still be some dry time. Heading into the weekend, showers possible on Saturday, but there could be some breaks in the sunshine by afternoon, highs in the 70s. I'm 7 News senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
A good amount of rain making its way through D.C. right now. We have got 74 in Alexandria, the same in Penn Quarter, 69 degrees in Columbia.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's news, traffic, and weather station.
WTOP News. Facts matter.
Good morning, I'm John Aaron.
I'm Michelle Bash. Coming up,
stock futures are down this morning following yesterday's tariff-fueled sell-off.
Mass rallies planned nationwide tomorrow will protest President Trump and Elon Musk.
Police arrest a man they say stabbed 6 people in Northeast D.C. I'm Scott Gelman.
Good to be with you this morning. It's now 6 o'clock.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Futures markets are down as Americans rush out to buy everything from soy sauce to workout clothing before President Trump's tariffs jack up the price of imports. CBS's Margaret Brennan.
Not everyone in the investment community is against tariffs, but they're surprised at the seemingly arbitrary nature of how the calculations were made, that allies, even Israel, were being punished here, and also surprised to hear President Trump rally against the very same free trade deal that he negotiated during his own first term.
Shrimper Leanne Bosarge isn't complaining.
Our industry is at a precipice. If we don't have some sort of immediate relief,
I don't know that you'll have any more multi-generational fishing families.
Dow futures off about 1% after yesterday's massive market losses. The government releases a new jobs report this morning, and business analyst Jill Schlesinger says it'll be telling.
This will be the first report that probably incorporates loss of federal workers that have been laid off or given early retirement. That said, economists warn that some federal workers were already reinstated, others were put on administrative leave, and therefore may be counted as employed.
A high-profile federal worker was fired overnight. Top Democrats on Capitol Hill say General Timothy Hawk, who headed both the National Security Agency and U.S. Cyber Command, was handed his walking papers. At least 7 deaths now blamed on severe storms hammering the Midwest and South. That's after heavy tornado damage from Arkansas to Indiana. A twister hit Grant McGinn's home in Tate County, Mississippi.
We heard a wind, and they kept on saying it was coming through, and we got in the bathroom, stayed in there. Within less than 3 minutes, we heard stuff hitting the roof, and then it was gone.
Meteorologist Craig Allen says the danger's not over yet.
This is a two-pronged system. Severe weather is going to continue at least into the upcoming weekend, and there's also going to be extreme flooding.
Lawyers for the Tufts University grad student from Turkey, arrested by ICE agents, are fighting to have her transferred from Louisiana. CBS's Camila Montoyo Galvez.
They want her to be transferred back to Massachusetts. The judge will now decide that question. But in the meantime, a ruling from the same judge will bar ICE from deporting Ms. Osturk.
The NCAA Women's Final Four gets underway in Tampa tonight with UConn facing UCLA. Connecticut star Paige Becker says her team knows what to do to win.
The possession that you're in is the most important possession of the season. And if you approach every possession like that, you'll have a sense of urgency to get everything right.
Defending champ South Carolina takes on Texas. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
6:03 on Friday morning, April 4th. We are at 68 degrees. Mostly cloudy, scattered rain. We're seeing some rain right now. And expect temperatures in the low 70s. Good morning. I'm Michelle Bash.
And I'm John Aaron. The top local story we're following this hour. D.C. police have arrested a man who they say stabbed 6 people near Gallaudet University. WTOP's Scott Gelman reports on yesterday's attack.
It happened here in D.C.'s Trinidad neighborhood around 3:30 Thursday afternoon. Police say a man started stabbing himself and a woman he was with.
The suspect then walked away from her and stabbed other individuals outside the block. And that's when the 2 Samaritans intervened to attempt to stop the suspect.
But Police Chief Pamela Smith says those 2 were also stabbed. In total, 6 people, not including the suspect, were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
It appears that the suspect was in an altered mental state from an unknown substance.
Police found the suspect suffering from stab wounds and recovered a knife they think he used nearby.
This incident highlights the need for assistance of substance abuse issues within our communities.
In Northeast, Scott Gelman, WTOP News.
There are protests planned across the country tomorrow against President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk. The National Day of Action is being called Hands Off, as in get your hands off our health care, our jobs, and our services. According to its website, this is a, quote, nationwide mobilization to stop the most brazen power grab in modern history. The rallies are meant to denounce the Trump administration and DOGE, which have been working to shrink the federal government by slashing funding and laying off federal workers. A demonstration in D.C. is set to start at noon at the Washington Monument tomorrow. There are protests also planned across our area, other parts including Chevy Chase, Silver Spring, Manassas, and Leesburg.
Virginia voters are choosing a new governor this year, and yesterday was the deadline for candidates to collect enough signatures to get on the primary ballot. In the Republican race, former state Senator Amanda Chase says she filed signatures to possibly get on the ballot and force a primary against Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Laura Vozella, who covers Virginia politics for the Washington Post, says Earl Sears' on and off support of President Trump could impact her campaign.
It could pose a problem for Winsome Sears, even if she's able to defeat her opponent, only because a primary means she's going to have to really embrace Donald Trump. She's been a little on again, off again with the president, who, of course, is very popular with GOP primary voters, but who has not been popular with the general electorate, which has 3 times rejected him for president.
Meanwhile, former Republican state delegate Dave LaRocque is dropping out of the race after not getting enough signatures. The winner of the GOP primary will face former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, who was the only Democrat who filed to run for governor.
Hockey history could be made tonight or this weekend. WTOP's John Doman is talking to Caps fans with forward-thinking ideas about the Great 8.
On comes Ovechkin! He's 3 goals away now. It might not be long before Alex Ovechkin is the NHL's all-time leading scorer.
To have the opportunity to actually see it in person is beyond belief.
Marcus Voyles of Bowie will be on Long Island Sunday, hoping to see the record breaker.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin!
He bought the tickets months ago.
We just kind of threw a dart at the calendar, and luckily we hit.
In fact, seats now cost double and triple what he paid. And Bill Brummett of Manassas has some ideas on what we can do at WTOP.
News, traffic, weather, and Ovechkin on the 8s.
Until the record is broken.
Give an update on the chase for the goal record.
Odds are that format tweak won't last very long. John Doman, WTOP News.
Coming up in Money News, 2 major sports betting websites are accused of predatory practices. Traffic and weather in 30 seconds.
AI innovations aren't limited to big tech. It's also won over the public sector. Join your peers in government, defense, and intelligence at Oracle's Federal Forum on April 15th at the Westin, downtown D.C. Here, you'll get best practices in improving business processes, database decision-making, operational efficiency, security, regulatory compliance, and learn how Gen AI can positively impact mission outcomes. Register for the Oracle Federal Forum. Free to you at oracle.com/fedforum.
608.
Get a precision AC tune-up for only $59.
Michael and Son.
Traffic and weather on the 8s. Back to the traffic center. Here's Rita Kessler.
And let's start out with the Beltway, where we're starting to see things on the outer loop of the Beltway. From 95 around toward University is the slowest point, and then the volume continues around past Georgia Avenue. Inner loop getting heavier from St. Barnabas Road across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Still no issues on the Beltway in Virginia. Now back in Maryland, southbound 270, heaviest point between 80 and 109. Then it looks good to the lane divide onto either loop of the Beltway. 108 in Olney is still closed between Zion Road and Bowie Mill Road. The wreck at Volunteer Drive brought down a pole and some wires in the roadway. Also, callers reporting MacArthur Boulevard between the Clara Barton Parkway and Brickyard Road. A rather large tree limb in the roadway causing some issues, so you'll want to be careful there. Northbound Baltimore-Washington Parkway a little slow, passing 197. While in the district, it is southbound DC 295 in delays after Eastern Avenue toward East Capitol Street. Also, northbound I-295 slows approaching and passing the Suitland Parkway onto the inbound 11th Street Bridge. In Virginia, eastbound 66, seeing more volume between Manassas and Centerville. Northbound 95, a little heavy from Dale City to the Prince William Parkway. Volume building in Lorton and Newington, and then it looks good into Springfield. The support brought to you by Fitzgerald Auto. It's a boy, it's a girl, it's a Kia. Fitzgerald Auto Mall welcomes a new brand of the family with Kia of Annapolis. Discover transparency you can trust with your new Kia at fitzmall.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
And here is 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
Not the prettiest of pictures here, but it is the weekend. Temperatures near 70 today with some off and on showers. Still some dry time and kind of a muggy feel with that humidity in the atmosphere. 50s overnight. We'll see some shower chances linger. Your Saturday has some hope. There could be a few showers, but I think we could see some sunshine as well, which will take us into the 70s, back in the 60s with more rain for the day on Sunday. Cooler air, though, spills in early next week. We'll see skies clearing out and temperatures only near 50 for the new work week on Monday. I'm 7 News meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
We've got some, in parts of the area, strong rain moving through at this hour. Some of that heavier rain is in the upper Marlboro area, as well as further to the west in places like Springfield and all the way out in Bristow. We've got 74 degrees at Reagan National at this hour. Wow, 71 at BWI Marshall, 69 at Dulles. Brought to you by Long Fence. Save 25% on decks, pavers, and fences. 6 months, no payment, no interest. Conditions apply. Go to longfence.com.
6:10 Money News at 10 and 40. The city of Baltimore is suing 2 popular online sports books, DraftKings and FanDuel. According to multiple reports, the lawsuit accuses the betting sites of predatory practices, by targeting and exploiting vulnerable people who have gambling addictions. In a statement, Mayor Brandon Scott says these companies are engaging in shady practices, and the lawsuit is a critical step to hold them accountable. There's been no comment from FanDuel or DraftKings.
Here's news about two credit card issuers. Capital One's $35 billion acquisition of Discover has cleared a major regulatory hurdle. The Justice Department finished its investigation into the acquisition. It says it didn't find reasons to block the deal. Capital One and Discover are two of the biggest credit card companies in the country. The merger was unveiled in February. The deal still needs approval from the Federal Reserve and the Comptroller of Currency.
Sponsored by Compassion International.
Thousands of kids in poverty have waited over a year for a sponsor. End their wait today. Sponsor a child with compassion. Just text radio to 83393.
Coming up,
hospital employees claim a coworker spied on them at work and at home. I'm Neil Augenstein.
It's 6:11.
The push for modernization begins with a 5-layer maturity model for digital transformation. Jameson Braun, the vice president of global public sector at Salesforce, discussed how this maturity model could allow the Defense Department to move faster.
Imagine if we had a way to communicate, collaborate, and document, so in that flow of work that could go right to every single person at the decision maker level. And everybody had 3 critical variables: trust, transparency, and accountability.
Listen to the full interview on federalnewsnetwork.com. Introducing Agent Force, the AI-powered digital labor platform for government. With Agent Force, agencies can streamline operations, make faster data-driven decisions, and use proactive AI agents to multiply impact, all in a secure cloud environment. Empower your teams with the tools they need to build connections and serve America more efficiently. Agent Force, transforming federal service for a smarter, safer future. Learn more at salesforce.com/government. That's salesforce.com/government.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
How can you free your team?
Change is in the air.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Jobs are on the line.
Deferred resignations for all federal employees who agree to quit their jobs.
You're bombarded with information every day. What's true?
WTOP helps you keep it straight.
WTOP News.
Facts matter. How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
I love this song. I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzz warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
At Cabinet Discounters, we truly love what we do. Transforming kitchens, bathrooms, basements, any room. Creating new ways to help you achieve your vision, and all within your budget. Visit one of our 8 showrooms. Sit down with an experienced designer and build the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Call or go online today and schedule a free consultation at CabinetDiscounters.com.
It's Cabinet Discounters, proud to serve you for over 40 years.
Cabinet Discounters. Great quality, great price.
Stay up to date with WTOP News and 7 News First Alert Weather.
6:15. I'm Michelle Bash.
I'm John Aaron. A class action lawsuit claims a former pharmacist at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore hacked hundreds of computers to watch his coworkers undress and breastfeed at work. WTOP's Neil Augenstein has details.
The lawsuit claims a former pharmacist targeted at least 80 coworkers over nearly a decade. He's believed to have installed software on hospital computers to steal passwords to gain access to coworkers' personal email, text, and photo libraries. The complaint said he activated webcams in patient treatment rooms to watch and record coworkers who were breastfeeding, and he was able to access at least one coworker's home security camera to spy on her having sex with her husband. The suit says the pharmacist has not been charged with a crime but is working elsewhere in Maryland, and that the violations were only possible because of a failure of the hospital's cybersecurity protocols. The University of Maryland medical system says the former employee's actions run counter to every single value they stand for, and they're working with the FBI and federal prosecutors in a criminal investigation, and that they continue to take aggressive steps to protect their IT systems. Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
TikTok could go dark tomorrow if a law forcing its Chinese-based parent company to sell its U.S. operation kicks in because the sale didn't happen. WTOP's Mike Murillo talked to a media expert about how this all might play out.
We're at an inflection point, obviously, on TikTok.
Virginia Tech media and political communications expert Casey Meyer says his feeling is we will see an extension as talks appear to be continuing between some big companies and ByteDance. Plus, he says,
there seems to be a calming down of the calls around the sell. And also, if you look at these executive orders, you don't see anyone really, you may see a few people, but you don't see a lot of Democrats complaining about the extensions.
He also thinks some political pressure could lead to more time for the company to sell.
You have to look at the users, and the users may be demanding an extension as well, and there could be a political consequence for shutting it down. So that may be part of the calculation as well.
Mike Murillo, WTOP News.
Here's a look at the top stories we're working on at WTOP.
President Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs continue to send shockwaves around the world.
The latest jobs report comes out today, and it'll reflect the sweeping layoffs at federal agencies.
A stabbing spree near Gallaudet University sends 6 people to the hospital.
Keep it here for full details on these stories in the minutes ahead.
Time now, 6:18. Traffic and weather on the 8s. Rita Kessler, what's up?
Well, thankfully, not a lot of problems. We do have a couple of things going on, and some delays are starting to build. But in general, not a bad trip throughout the area just yet. Now, in Maryland, the only area, we still have 108 shut down between Zion Road and Bowie Mill Road at Volunteer Drive, where an earlier wreck brought down a pole and some wires in the roadway. We also had the issue in Potomac, MacArthur Boulevard between Clara Barton Parkway and Brickyard Road. A large tree limb in the roadway. That could cause some issues, so you'll want to watch out. It looks like it may be passable, at least for some vehicles, but just be careful heading along that stretch. Now, on the Beltway, your outer loop delays already from 95 headed around toward Georgia Avenue. Inner loop starts to slow before 210 to the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. On 270 southbound, that's the delay before 80 in Urbana headed to 109. Then it's still good to the lane divide. The Baltimore-Washington Parkway heaviest point northbound is going to be passing 197. Also in the district, southbound DC 295 delays after Eastern Avenue to East Capitol Street. Northbound I-295 slows approaching and passing the Suitland Parkway, with your lanes available to you. Now in Virginia, northbound 95, heavy passing 610, then delay passing the Prince William Parkway, and again more volume through Lorton and Newington. 395 a little heavy getting onto the 14th Street Bridge, and eastbound 66 starting to slow passing 234 Business in Manassas. Lido Pizza has a square deal for you. A 14-inch cheese Lido pizza with an Italian salad for only $17.99. Order online at lidopizza.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff. How the heck is it so warm out there this morning?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, this warm air from overnight never really dissipated as that warm front just sitting right overhead. And now we actually have some cooling showers that are starting to move in here. You know, our typical afternoon temperature for this time of year is in the low to mid 60s, 63, 64, and we were sitting at 77 degrees in the city last hour. 77. Can you believe that? It's just insane. Outside right now, I am looking at a few of these showers that are continuing to kind of work their way across our area. And there were some heavier little pockets as well, and even a few lightning strikes. Fairfax, Burke, Clifton, Bristow, some showers. On the east side of town from Camp Springs to Kettering up to Crofton, some showers. A little lightning strike now just popping up in Laurel. Nothing severe, but this little batch of showers moving through. If you didn't get into the action this time, there'll be a little bit of a lull, but there's more showers down through the south and west, so more waves of rain can kind of work their way throughout the morning into the early afternoon before we get a little bit of a lull. So I think temperatures probably hit their peak this morning in many locations. They'll kind of be steady, if not drop back slightly. Upper 60s, low 70s kind of on average for the back half of the day, with some hope that we do have some drier hours, particularly for the latter half. If you want to go for an evening walk, hopefully should be good. 60s, upper 50s overnight. Heading into the day tomorrow, I am tracking a few showers early to start off your day. I know if you may have some outdoor plans, or you want to do something, latest guidance would lead me to believe that if this front pays attention and does what it's supposed to do, we actually may see those shower chances just early, and then the bulk of the day being dry with maybe even some sunshine if we're lucky to sneak on through. Temperatures tomorrow will be closer to the mid 70s or so, depending on how much sunshine you see breaking through. And then on Sunday, that's, I think, when we have more shower chances, and it'll be a bit cooler with those off and on rains. By next week, we do clear it out, guys, but it'll be in the 50s and maybe the upper 40s for highs by Monday and Tuesday of next week. So it's just really all over the place. So if you like it warm, you just have to contend with the clouds. But yes, it would be nice to see some sunshine around here at some point. It's down to 66 right now in South Riding after those showers push through. It's 72 in Camp Springs. It is right now 75 in Triangle.
And it's brought to you by Gutter Helmet by Lednor Home. Not all gutter solutions are equal. Get engineered performance, not hype. Plus no payments for 1 year. Call 888-5-HELMET.
And we'll have more news in about 60 seconds.
Navy Federal Credit Union can help you dominate debt with a 0% intro APR on credit card balance transfers for 12 months. And right now, you could get $250 when you spend $2,500 using a Cash Rewards or Cash Rewards Plus card. Visit NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. After the intro rate expires, variable APRs are 15.15% to 18% based on credit worthiness. Rates are subject to change. ATM fees for cash advances are up to $1 at non-Navy Federal ATMs.
When you're a professional excavator, safe digging is a matter of steps. Steps to get you home safely at the end of the day. Follow the entire safe digging process. Contact Miss Utility before every dig. Confirm response of all utilities. And only hand dig within 18 inches of the marks. Visit missutility.net or call 811. Before you dig, every dig, it's the law.
At Leidos, we make things smarter and more efficient. From cutting development time in half on a new class of cruise missile for the DoD, to already being done with this ad. Leidos, making smart smarter.
This is Washington's top news.
WTOP News.
Facts matter.
624.
No matter how excited you are about an upcoming trip, be sure to safeguard that boarding pass.
You're heading out on a big trip. You're excited. So you post your boarding pass online to bask in the moment. What you don't know is that you just messed up big time. I'm Kim Commando for Home Title Lock. Go to HomeTitleLock.com, use promo code Kim to receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection when you sign up. Even if you're pumped to get going, and honestly, good for you. Posting your boarding pass is a huge security risk. It's loaded with personal info, including your booking code, also called a PNR, passenger name record. That's your travel file. It can include your contact info, frequent flyer number, payment methods, seat, special requests, and even who you're flying with. Here's what hackers can do with your PNR. Cancel or change your flight without you knowing. Steal your identity. Break into your airline account and use your miles. Not fun. Bottom line, don't post your boarding pass. Just enjoy your trip. Start your day with my free newsletter to always be tech ahead. Sign up right now at getkim.com.
Sports at 25 and 55 brought to you by Amentum, advancing the future together for the intelligence community.
Alrighty, Presto's here.
Wizards come up short against Orlando 109-97. Magic pull away by hitting 55% of their shots in the fourth quarter against Brian Keefe's team.
We forced them into the shots we wanted to take. They made some of them. They didn't make a lot in the second half. Our defense was really good in the second half. I think they had 48. So we really stepped up. We were physical. but they made some timely ones.
Bub Carrington faces the Wiz with 32 points in defeat. NHL Capitals host Chicago this evening with Alex Ovechkin on the precipice of history, 3 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky's career record. Does Caps radio announcer John Walton have his historic call ready?
It's funny because I have not, and I have not really given it a whole lot of thought, if I'm being honest, except for the part that at least my philosophy has always been if you're scripting something, you're going to get yourself into trouble. But at the same time, you know what it's going to be.
Couple helpful hints. He's got to say 895. And he's got to say Ovechkin, and he's got to say goal.
Record.
Maybe throw Capitals record. There's a lot of things that we can throw
Kinda
in
writes
there.
itself.
Read more about what it's like to be in the booth for history. Mic'd up for a milestone. It's on the sports page at WTOP.com. Caps and Blackhawks begin at 7. And I look in the studio right now, and I noticed that we're kind of celebrating. I've got my Caps sweater. Jill has a Caps T-shirt. And I guess we've made a little Capitals thing for you, John.
So
Just
I can put a Capitals post-it on myself, just like I did for the Nationals.
Just like last week for the Nationals. I'm going to give it to Michelle. She's going to pass it along to you.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
We
Very
really
nice.
went old school on this with the red, white, and blue, the little
You spent a little bit
stick.
of time on this. This is the actual logo. This
That's
is
a
just this is not
fancy
just
post-it.
Capitals scrawled on a post-it.
Way too much time.
This is your art project.
Way too much of my life was spent on that. So you better put that on.
I'm wearing it.
Dave Preston, WTOP Sports.
All right, Dave, still ahead. We are closely watching futures markets this morning. Looks like the stock market could give back even more today at 626.
Laugh together, carpool together. Everything's better when you share the ride together. Even if you're commuting just a few days a week, Commuter Connections can match you into carpools with others who live and work near you. It's a free service for commuters. Save time and money when you share the ride. Get your carpool together. Register today for free at commuterconnections.org or call 800-745-RIDE. That's commuterconnections.org.
Check out WTOP's newest podcast, Founding DC. I'm Dan Simons, co-founder of Founding Farmers Restaurant Group and the host of Founding DC, a series of candid conversations with DMV entrepreneurs about nurturing an idea into a thriving business. Our mission? Pay it forward to current and aspiring entrepreneurs by spotlighting local founders who came before them. Founding DC is presented by NFP, an Aon company, delivering the insurance and risk management expertise, insight, and service you need. Learn more at nfp.com and sponsored by Shulman Rogers.
Scott Froman, the head of defense programs for Google Public Sector on Federal News Network's DoD Modernization Exchange, says AI can help with 3 big cyber challenges.
The threat's important because these threats are ever evolving. They're getting more and more complex, especially as the attackers use AI. Toil is important because there's just so much surface area to defend, and it's getting bigger and more complex every day. And the talent, hiring cyber is hard.
Watch the full discussion now. Go to federalnewsnetwork.com and search Google.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems. From establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology, this is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American Innovation. That's g.co/American Innovation.
628. Traffic and weather on the 8th. Let's get the latest from Rita.
And right now, let's start out in Virginia with the newest problem we have in the Leesburg area. This is southbound 15, near 15 Business or North King Street. You're under police direction for that wreck. Definitely watch for the delays. They are there. That is a pretty massive backup right now, trying to make your way out of Luckett's in past this crash. After that, 15 looks good, 7 looks good out of Leesburg, trying to make your way toward Wolftrap and Tyson's. You'll also find eastbound 66 starting to slow, passing 234 Business in Manassas. Northbound 28 delays out of Manassas toward Yorkshire Lane, and northbound 95 slow spots, passing 610, passing the Prince William Parkway through Lorton and Newington, and 395 slows getting onto the 14th Street Bridge. On the Beltway in Maryland, Interloop delays. St. Barnabas to the Wilson Bridge. Outer loop slows from 95 headed toward 29 and Georgia. Northbound on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway is the delay, passing 197, while southbound DC 295. That delay is after Eastern Avenue, headed past East Capitol Street, and northbound I-295 slows getting onto the 11th Street Bridge. Back in Maryland, 108, only Laytonsville Road between Zion Road and Bowie Mill Road. The lanes remain blocked for an earlier wreck that happened at Volunteer Drive. It brought down a pole and some wires in the roadway. Lido Pizza has a square deal for you. A 14 inch cheese Lido pizza with an Italian salad for only $17.99. Order online at LidoPizza.com. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
And here is 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
Tracking clouds and some off and on shower chances throughout the day. Not a washout, but just kind of a drippy day with some light rain, a possibility. Temperature is hovering around the 70-degree mark, not too far off from our high, which is in the mid-60s, so definitely above average, not quite yesterday's 81. Into the evening 50s, some showers will carry us into the weekend, but I do think there could be some peaks of sunshine. It's a pesky front wavering overhead. We'll say near 70 on Saturday, but maybe warmer if we get some sunshine. Back in the 60s Sunday with some more rain. I'm 7 News senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
We have been watching a line of rain moving through our area early this morning. It has moved through parts of D.C. Now we're seeing rain mostly to the south. Some places include Alexandria, Waldorf, forgetting it now. Also, 71 degrees now in College Park, a little warmer, 74 on the National Mall, 69 now in Fairfax.
You're listening to WTOP, Washington's news, traffic, and weather station.
The WTOP Producers Desk is wired by IBEW Local 26, where electrical contractors come to grow.
Good morning, I'm John Aaron.
I'm Michelle Bash. Acacia James is our producer.
The top story we're following is your money. It's shaping up to be another day of losses on Wall Street following yesterday's steep declines, with investors worried about rising prices from a wave of new U.S. tariffs. Right now, stock futures have gone down a bit more. Dow futures are now down nearly 2%, as are S&P futures. NASDAQ futures are down over 2%. Yesterday's losses came after President Trump's sweeping tariff announcement.
What we saw in the markets was the worst day for stocks since the early days of the pandemic in 2020. I spoke to one trader on Wall Street who called it the fog of war. And what we saw were multiple companies, Apple, Nike, Gap. These are companies that rely on supply chains overseas. Those are companies that sold off.
That's ABC News Chief Business and Economics Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis.
Tariffs and tax cuts are getting a lot of attention in the Senate. Democrats are blasting President Trump's tariffs, while Republicans are pressing ahead with the White House agenda, pledging that economic relief is coming. The latest from WTOP's Mitchell Miller, today on the Hill.
Democrats are losing their minds.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune isn't talking much about the impact of tariffs. He's steadily working to move the president's budget blueprint forward. And he's critical of Democrats who charge that extending the Trump tax cuts from his first term is only going to help billionaires.
It was working families, not the wealthy, who receive the greatest proportional benefit.
But the Senate's top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, says his party will fight the president's plan. And he continues to rail against tariffs that he says threaten American businesses and consumers.
Donald Trump has single-handedly created a financial forest fire.
On Capitol Hill, Mitchell Miller, WTOP News.
We'll get a different check on the economy today with the release of the latest jobs report. The labor market is expected to show more growth for March despite the massive federal government layoffs that have happened.
The economy likely added around 160,000 jobs in March, according to the Wall Street consensus, a slight gain from the February total, with the unemployment rate expected to remain steady at 4%. Challenger Gray and Christmas reported that layoffs in March soared 60% higher from the prior month to more than 275,000. With federal government job cuts totaling nearly 280,000 over the past 2 months.
That is CBS Money Watch reporter Jason Brooks.
Several people have been taken to the hospital after being stabbed near Gallaudet University in D.C. WTOP's Scott Gelman has details of what happened yesterday.
It started around 3:30 here along Montello Avenue in D.C.'s Trinidad neighborhood. Police Chief Pamela Smith says a man was walking with a woman when he started stabbing himself and then her with a knife.
The suspect then stabbed others standing outside in the block. 2 Good Samaritans, and we are very grateful for them this afternoon, tried to intervene in the suspect's assault and were among those who was injured.
4 women and 2 men were taken to the hospital with injuries police are describing as non-life-threatening.
It appears that the suspect was in an altered mental state from an unknown substance.
The suspect was arrested, and Smith says their investigation is ongoing. In Northeast, Scott Gelman, WTOP News.
2 people connected to the vandalism of Teslas in D.C. allegedly are now under arrest. More from WTOP's Kyle Cooper.
The vandalism took place in the first 2 weeks of March. 8 cars were targeted in neighborhoods in Northeast. Under arrest are 49-year-old Justin Fisher and 50-year-old Emily Fisher. D.C. police say the two wrote political hate speech on the cars. Our news partners at 7 News report I Fund Fascism was written on one car and I Love What Musk is Doing was written on another. Each faces multiple counts of defacing property, and police say they are investigating the cases as potentially being motivated by political affiliation, hate, or bias, and that the charges could be upgraded to reflect that. Kyle Cooper, WTOP News.
And coming up after traffic and weather.
When's the last time you took out your checkbook? Do you even have one? I'm Jeff Claybaugh.
6:36.
Have you heard of plantar fasciitis? Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. Imagine jumping off the back of a pickup truck onto some rocks. That's what it felt like when I was suffering from plantar fasciitis. After searching and trying so many other products, I finally found relief with Good Feet Arch Supports, and they still keep me running today. Now I get to help others who are struggling with plantar fasciitis to live their life pain-free. Here's another customer sharing their Good Feet story.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain. It just hurts all the time. It feels like your foot is squeezing on itself. When I drove past the Good Feet store, I thought, I'm just going to stop in. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support that were personally fitted just for me. Then it was like, okay, this is something special. These make a difference.
The Good Feet store has locations across Greater D.C. and Baltimore, and now open in Fredericksburg. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today. I'm Jonathan Cotton, and we look forward to seeing you soon at the Good Feet store.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention.
Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Lineger, and we're going to discuss neuropathy.
What is neuropathy?
So peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we can achieve amazing results.
If you have a burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or balance issues, call us at Manassas Rehab today for nerve damage screening. This screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Act now. Call 571-605-6473 for your free nerve damage screening. Be among the first 10 callers and get this important screening for free. 571-605-6473. 571-605-6473.
April 6th at Tropical Smoothie Cafe, rewards members get $5 off an acai bowl or an acai bowl with Nutella. Log into the app on April 6th to redeem your rewards. Terms and conditions apply.
It's 6:38. Traffic and weather on the 8s. What's going on in the 6 o'clock hour, Rita Kessler?
Well, we have a new problem to talk about in Maryland. This is northbound 201 Kenilworth Avenue. The ramp to Tuxedo Road is blocked with the crash. Thanks to callers for letting us know. We still have the closure of 108 in only between Zion Road and Bowie Mill Road. The crash at Volunteer Drive in the overnight hours brought down a pole and some wires. They have a lot of work to do there. Also, keep an eye out on MacArthur Boulevard between the Clara Barton Parkway and Brickyard Road. There was a large tree limb in the roadway, and that was causing some issues. In Virginia, northbound Route 1 in Woodbridge near Blackburn Road, that's a report of a wreck with a little bit of volume. Southbound 15 is crawling out of Luckett's into Leesburg. Near 15 Business and North King Street under police direction for the crash. Now, in the district, northbound 395 is starting to slow, getting onto the 14th Street Bridge and the Case Bridge, trying to head toward the 3rd Street Tunnel. Now, crossing the Case Bridge there in the southbound direction, we may have a crash. That's an unusual delay that actually starts near 6th and 7th Streets, or actually coming out of the 3rd Street Tunnel in stretches, trying to head across the Case Bridge. So watch out for any crash activity in that direction. Southbound DC 295 delays from before Benning Road headed toward Pennsylvania Avenue. Northbound I-295, no major issues, and the inbound Suitland Parkway is slow. from the Maryland DC line after Branch Avenue, trying to head to the traffic light at Stanton Road with your lanes available to you. On the Beltway, inner loop slows from St. Barnabas to the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Outer loop delays after 95, headed toward 29 in Georgia Avenue, and southbound 270 slows out of Urbana in stretches into Clarksburg, and then from Father Hurley Boulevard toward Montgomery Village Avenue. This report brought to you by Microsoft. Today marks Microsoft's 50th birthday. For half a century, Microsoft has empowered the federal government with innovation. From the first PC to AI with Copilot, Microsoft shaping the future. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
Now to the PJ Fitzpatrick Home Improvement Weather Desk with their lifetime warranty on materials and labor. TrustPJ.com. Here's 7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff.
Tracking a good deal of cloud cover today and some off-and-on showers. Temperatures not quite as warm as yesterday, near 70 degrees. Just going to be kind of a drab end of the work week. Heading into the weekend, we're going to have clouds around both days as well. Some temperatures near 70 on Saturday with a few showers. Could be some sunny breaks. We're hopeful Sunday in the 60s. I'm 7 News CUB meteorologist Brian Vandegraff in the First Alert Weather Center.
Rain has eased up. It is still in Frederick County, Maryland, though, as well as Charles County, Prince George's County, and Anne Arundel County. 72 degrees right now in Georgetown.
It's 6:40. Money news at 10 and 40 past the hour. We are watching stock futures this morning, and they have changed significantly now. Dow futures are now down more than 2%. S&P futures down nearly 3%. NASDAQ futures off nearly 3% as well. All of this coming after we saw the worst stock market drop yesterday in years, all over the tariffs introduced by the Trump administration.
As new automotive tariffs take effect, Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler maker Stellantis is pausing production at some plants in Canada and Mexico. A ripple effect is that the company is temporarily laying off nearly 1,000 factory workers in the U.S. The affected American plants supply parts to the foreign factories that are being idled. Meanwhile, Infiniti is pausing production of 2 Mexico-built crossovers for the U.S. market, the QX50 and QX55, in response to the new tariffs.
The federal government will phase out the use of paper checks in the next 6 months. And WTOP business reporter Jeff Claybaugh says, well, they likely won't be missed.
The federal government still sends out almost 500,000 Social Security checks every month, and many still prefer the check option for tax refunds. They're increasingly dinosaurs. 46% of Americans wrote no personal checks at all last year. 15% say just a few. Since 2000, check writing has dropped 75%. Replaced by debit card and payment apps.
These days, more and more retailers are no longer accepting personal checks. Personal check writing didn't become mainstream until after World War II.
6:42, South Korea's president has been expelled from office. The country's constitutional court announced its verdict on his parliamentary impeachment this morning. It triggers a snap presidential election within 60 days.
122 days after his martial law declaration, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's been removed from office as Seoul's constitutional court reached a unanimous verdict. With thousands of police deployed near the court, the immediate concern ahead of an election will be maintaining public order between rival protesters.
That is reporter Alex Jensen in Seoul.
Coming up, a new dramedy for pet lovers. We'll bring you a preview. It's 6:43.
That
Good
one.
Gracious.
When you're replacing an appliance, you need a new one fast. And we know what you're thinking. That means big box store. But here's what you should be thinking. Bray beats big. At Bray & Scarf, we offer next day delivery on hundreds of appliances with online delivery day tracking. And we install when we deliver. The big box stores make you wait for installation on another day. Don't want it delivered? We offer fast, free in-store pickup. The big box stores simply can't compete. For big hassles and headaches, the big box stores have you covered. For appliances made easy, the answer is Bray & Scarf.
It's spring savings going on now at Bray & Scarf. Save up to 30% on select GE Profile and Cafe appliances. And save on in-stock GE Profile refrigerators and best-selling washers and dryers. Shop local, in-store, and online at brayandscarf.com, where it doesn't cost more to get more.
Thompson Creek Window Company designs, builds, and installs replacement windows without the middleman markup. You get high-quality windows at an affordable price direct from our local factory. Call now for our biggest sale of the year. Take advantage of our best prices and lowest monthly payments on all windows and doors for a limited time. Call 855-57-CREEK now.
Home sweet Thompson Creek.
At Leidos, we make things smarter and more efficient. From reducing in-person wait times at the Social Security Administration by 73% to already being done with this ad. Leidos, making smart smarter.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code GROW. swishradio.com, code GROW.
Stay up to date with WTOP News and 7 News First Alert Weather.
6:45, I'm John Aaron.
And I'm Michelle Bash. A tearjerker of a movie opens in theaters this weekend. The Friend is about a big Great Dane and his new human who are both mourning their best friend's death.
It's about the dog. I wanted to ask if you could take him.
No, I can't. No.
This is what Walter wanted after he died.
Why would he say that?
You were his best friend.
It's taken over my bed, and it's getting in the way of my work.
I don't think it's about the dog.
He's in mourning. He lost his master. How would you feel?
I could feel him missing Walter in the same way I did. I guess I saw it the other way around, like I'm the emotional support human and it's the dog that can't cope.
The movie is based on a 2018 novel that won the National Book Award for fiction.
Kuya P of Nerds Rule the World has a review.
The Friend is a dramedy about what happens when we lose the people we love as their friends and family and as their pets. Starring Naomi Watts as Iris, a writer and teacher living in New York, and Bill Murray, her friend and mentor, who suddenly passes away, leaves his 150-pound Great Dane named Apollo, whom Iris now finds herself caretaking and having to deal with the problems Apollo creates after his death. Friends and family are grieving. Iris is grieving, but so is Apollo. How do pets deal with death? The Friend illustrates how we come to terms with death and how we all heal. Naomi Watts gives a great performance along with the Great Dane, Apollo. Pet owners will definitely feel all the feels that The Friend delivers, but it will also universally remind us all to live every moment to the fullest and appreciate all of those we love while they are here.
It is Kuya P of Nerds Rule the World, which previews the latest in film, TV, and streaming.
A big change for the MTV Video Music Awards. This year, the show will be broadcast by CBS for the first time. The 3-hour show, which will take place in September, will also be simulcast on MTV and be available to stream on Paramount+. Last year's VMAs delivered the biggest multi-network audience in 4 years, with Taylor Swift winning big, taking home 7 awards, including the night's biggest prize, Video of the Year for Fortnite, featuring Post Malone. CBS is the longtime home to a number of big-name award shows, including the Tonys and the Grammys.
Now to the top stories we're working on here at WTOP.
As many as 6 people were taken to hospitals yesterday in a mass stabbing incident in D.C.
Will Ovechkin tie or break the NHL's scoring record this weekend?
And there are new developments connected to the race for Virginia's governor.
Keep it here for full details on these stories in the minutes ahead.
Now 6:48. Traffic and weather on the 8s and when it breaks. Here's Rita.
And right now, if you're traveling in Maryland in the Olney area, just keep in mind that 108 remains closed between Zion Road and Bowie Mill Road near Volunteer Drive due to an earlier wreck that brought a pole and wires down in the area. So you're going to find utility work ongoing. Northbound 201 Kenilworth Avenue, the ramp to Tuxedo Road. The ramp was blocked with the wreck. And watch out in Potomac on MacArthur Boulevard between the Clara Barton Parkway and Brickyard Road. There was reports of a large tree limb there in the roadway affecting the commute. Now on 270 southbound, volume out of Urbana past 109. And then from Father Hurley Boulevard and stretches to Montgomery Village Avenue. After that, you are still good headed toward the lane divide onto either loop of the Beltway. Outer loop of the Beltway slows before New Hampshire Avenue headed toward 29 in Georgia. Inner loop slowdown begins near St. Barnabas Road toward the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. And you're starting to see more volume on the Beltway in Virginia. Inner loop out of, from Braddock Road headed past 236 and from the Dulles Toll Road headed toward Georgetown Pike. It is northbound Route 1 in Woodbridge near Blackburn Road. That was a report of a wreck. Southbound 15 was still seeing some pretty big delays. Out of Luckett's trying to get into Leesburg. It was near North King Street and 15 Business. You were under police direction for that crash. Heading in through Leesburg and getting onto Route 7. Everything looks good on eastbound 7, trying to head toward the toll road and the Beltway. This report brought to you by Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. The 5K Glow Walk and Run for Autism returns on Saturday, April 5th. Learn more about this sensory-friendly, accessible event at pgparks.com/glowwalk. I'm Rita Kessler, WTOP Traffic.
7 News First Alert senior meteorologist Brian Vandegraff. As you point out, the rain has cooled things off a bit this morning, but wow, we were looking at some eye-popping early temperatures earlier on.
I like how you eye-popping for sure. We were 77 degrees momentarily over at Reagan National Airport as that milder air just kind of surging out there this morning. We just didn't cool off much last night. The warm front kind of draped across our area, and we had that little south wind that just really kind of socked us in. We weren't seeing any movement of the air. Yeah, no, for sure. Like you're wearing the air. Yeah. I guess is the best way to describe it. And then we just had that little line of showers that pushed across our area and did bring some heavier downpours, some lightning. I even got a report from someone in Ashburn said they had a little bit of hail in that one little cell briefly. We had no severe alerts, but that shower action is now kind of drifting off to our east, and we're seeing a little bit of a drier patch now, but more showers will continue to kind of fill in behind. So even though you may get a lull or maybe you didn't see much at all, there's some more showers coming out of West Virginia that could rotate through here over the next few hours. So some off and on showers will be the story. Our high officially in the books could be that 77 from earlier, but we'll kind of hover in the upper 60s to low 70s throughout the middle portion of the day now that some of those cooling showers have passed. 60s tonight, mainly dry tomorrow, early in the morning, maybe a passing shower or two. I do have some hope for your Saturday, depending on how much sunshine comes through, maybe some mid to upper 70s, but a mainly drier day, just a little damp in the morning. Sunday now looking a little bit wetter, upper 60s to near 70 with some showers and storms. It all kicks out of here early next week, and we drop only in the upper 40s and low 50s for highs for the first half of next week. So get ready for some cooler air, at least briefly. Things change around here quickly.
Yes, they do.
Spring is all over the place. It's like a yo-yo. 70 right now in Bowie, but a cooler 64 in Germantown. It's 68 right now in Annandale.
Who are you calling a yo-yo?
Right.
Means it in the nicest possible way.
Of course.
The forecast brought to you by Mervis Diamonds.
The best diamonds in the world are waiting for you at Mervis Diamond Importers. For the largest diamond collection and the best value, visit Mervis. Nobody pays retail anymore. Why should you? MervisDiamond.com.
Coming up, word from the Trump administration that some recent federal job cuts may have gone too far. More news in 60 seconds.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
WTOP and Silver Diner now bring you Free Lunch Friday to thank you for listening to WTOP, whether you're at home, at work, or on the go. 3 winners every Friday. Enter to win free lunch courtesy of Silver Diner and plan your next luncheon with up to 5 additional guests. There's something for everyone at Silver Diner with over 100 menu items, including vegan and gluten-free options and your diner favorites. So don't miss out. Enter to win today at WTOP.com. Search free lunch.
Looking for security and your watchdog would rather cuddle than keep your home safe? Fortunately, you can count on the experts at Long Fence. And right now, all fences, decks, and pavers are 25% off. Terms and conditions apply. Go to longfence.com for a free estimate today.
This is Washington's top news.
WTOP News.
Facts matter.
It's 6:53.
An admission from the Health and Human Services Secretary that DOGE cuts dug too deep at his department.
After the termination of 10,000 jobs at the Department of Health and Human Services, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants some of those fired workers to come back.
There were some programs that were cuts that are being reinstated.
That when Kennedy was asked about a program at the CDC that monitors lead levels in children. It was completely cut this week. Kennedy said that other programs across HHS would be reinstated as well. As many as 20% of the workers who were let go.
Because we'll make mistakes.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
We have more now on a crash we told you about in our traffic reports yesterday afternoon. An 87-year-old man is dead after being hit by a van in Idlewood. Fairfax County Police say the driver of a Nissan cargo van was heading westbound on Lee Highway in the far right lane when Herman Gomez of Falls Church stepped into the road and was hit near Fairfax Drive. The driver of the van remained at the scene. Police say neither alcohol nor speed appear to have been factors.
To the Middle East, reports indicates dozens of Palestinians were killed in a series of recent Israeli airstrikes.
Israel says its stepped-up attacks on Gaza are meant to put pressure on Hamas to free the remaining 59 Israeli hostages, both alive and dead. Israeli officials have called on Palestinians in Gaza to rise up against Hamas and convince them to leave Gaza. Since a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas broke down last month, Israel has stopped all food and fuel from entering Gaza and stepped up air and ground attacks.
That's reporter Linda Gradstein in Jerusalem.
Sports at 25 and 55. Powered by Maximus. Moving people and technology forward.
We are talking Caps, but first, the Wizards.
Yes, the Wizards keep my infamous Davis Bertans commemorative socks in the dresser drawer, coming up short in their bid for a winning streak, slipping 109-97 to Orlando. Wiz, 17-60 on the season. 4 of their final 5 games remaining are on the road. NHL Capitals play Chicago tonight with Alex Ovechkin standing 3 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky in the history books. A lot of guys playing with the 39-year-old now are a lot younger, like Connor McMichael.
He was an idol of mine, so I remember the first training camp I had with him. I was starstruck. I was just watching him take 1-tees after practice, and it was one of the coolest moments. It was kind of my welcome to the NHL moment, skating with him in the first time in practice.
Read more about what it takes to skate with Ovechkin, plus in-game moves Spencer Carberry, the coach, makes. It's called History on the Line. It's on the sports page at WTOP.com. Caps and Blackhawks begin at 7 p.m. I'll be joining John and Michelle in studio.